Marvel Legends, X-Men, Chode Build-A-Figure Wave, Kid Omega. Let's get it. What's good, my peeps? It's the Ruckus back at you again with another action figure review. This time courtesy of Hasbro Marvel Legends. We have from the X-Men Chode Build-A-Figure Wave, Marvel's Kid Omega. We're going to get right into it. Looking at this packaging, we've got a digital render of Kid Omega with the X-Men logo right down below. We've got some nice artwork of Kid Omega on one side, and we've got a digital render of the Build-A-Figure Chode on the other, as well as a list of all of the figures required to build Chode. 6 figures, there are 7 in the wave. Cyclops is the lone figure that is not required to build Chode. X logo at the top, and on the back we have another digital render of Kid Omega, and to our left the Build-A-Figure piece. Kid Omega comes with the biggest piece to build Chode, that being the torso, and on our right we have his accessories, a telekinetic gun, blaster, whatever you want to call it, and of course an additional set of hands. And here we have Kid Omega, otherwise known as Quentin Quire, on our rotating base, and you can see that there isn't really much to him. Very simplistic. The torso, the whole body, sans the head, of course, is molded in a black plastic, and we have some nice line work of a, I believe we'll call it magenta, going throughout the torso and shoulders and wrists and everything like that. We'll take a closer look at that, the details, the head sculpt, what have you. Before we do, take a peep at the torso for Chode, and this marks the 5th piece that's needed to build the figure, and we'll set this aside, and when it's time, we will put Chode together. As far as his own accessories are concerned, here's that additional set of hands. They're a pair of C grippers. They also have the vertical hinges, and you see that they're molded in black, and of course the fingers, the fingerless gloves. So the fingers are flesh colored. And here we have that psionic or telekinetic gun, weapon, blaster, and it's molded in a translucent, transparent plastic. We'll also say it's kind of a magenta color. It's got some nice detail. You can see right through it, so pretty nice. As we take a look at Quentin Quire's head sculpt there, you can see that his hair is also of a pinkish type of color. And if you look at his eyewear, those are telekinetic as well. They're translucent, and he created them psionically, so it's looking pretty cool. He's got some nice detail there. That digital print, I was about to say photo real, but this is a comic character, not a live action one, is looking pretty good. He's got kind of you see, this is what I'm talking about. He's got a neutral head sculpt, but it still has an expression, if you know what I mean. He's not just like looking all blankety blank, and it looks pretty good. Nice profile there. Same with the other side. Try to get the full profile. There you go. And like I said, with the hair, there's no wash to it. It's just that pinkish, I called it magenta. It might be mauve, who knows. And still looks pretty nice. Taking a look at the figure as a whole, you see the nice artwork there. He's got the design of an Omega symbol on his chest. His torso is on his chest and his rib cage, as you can see there. And Like I had stated, my line work is pretty nice. There's no jaggies or anything like that. Turn him to his side there so you can see what's going on his shoulder and arms. He's got the Omega symbols. It's on both sides, and you see what we got going on there. Pretty nice, so very good. And turning him to the rear, we have to hand it to Hasbro. They didn't skimp. They could have gone a cheap route, but everything continues on the back, so you've got the Omega symbol back there as well. So I appreciate that, Hasbro. Whenever you don't go cheap, it's always a plus for us. As far as his articulation goes, his head is on a ball hinge, so he could look up that far, look down that far. You do get attitude, which is necessary for a Quentin Quire. And of course, you've got the 360 right there. We're rocking the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man buck, so we get the butterfly joint, so he could rear back like that. And of course, he can get his arms. Let's see if I can do it in one fell swoop here. Yep, there you go. You like that. He could do the thunderclap, something that the Hulk can't even do with his, because he only has rear leaning butterfly joints. But this isn't about the Hulk, is it? It's about Kid Omega. So we can get almost a full T-pose there with the shoulders. He can 360 them. We've got the not butterfly, the bicep swivel. We've got the double jointed pinless elbows there. We also have the swiveling wrists and the horizontal hinge, which is on both sides. He comes with fists out of the box. As far as his torso is concerned, he's got a diaphragm joint right there, so we can lean with it, rock with it. He can go forward a little bit with that diaphragm. He can go back a little bit with that diaphragm, but this is the Amazing Fantasy buck, so he also comes with an ab crunch. So in conjunction with that diaphragm, you can get him bent over that much and that much going back. So you gotta love that. And you get your left and right at the diaphragm. So that's where you're going to get that from. He could do almost the full splits. He can get his leg more than 90. He can go back definitely great. He's got the thigh cut, double jointed pinless knees, as you can see right there. He also has a boot cut. He can point his toe that far forward, that far up, very nicely up. He's got the ankle pivot and, of course, holes, peg holes at the bottom of his feet. Here we have Quentin brandishing his psionic weapon there. I changed out his right hand to one of the grasping hands, which in this instance should be a trigger finger hand. He's just grasping it. He doesn't have anything going through the trigger guard. And here, let me show you why. Using the left hand as a reference because they're identical, you can see what I'm talking about there. The C grip, but the index finger is connected to the other three when it needs to be freed up. So I'm probably going to go the X-Acto route and free up probably just the right hand. I don't want to I've got this thing about defiling my figures. I had to overcome that neurosis when it just came to getting new capes, especially for the figures that have their capes affixed, like, say, Thor. But I think I'll do a little bit of carving just so he can look more realistic while he's grasping his weapon. And with me trying to come up with who to do a comparison with, I figured get a couple of characters that have something in common with Quentin, and that would be his power set of telekinesis. And he's an Omega level telekinetic, which ergo his name. And so you see who I got matched up with him. We've got on our left Psylocke, who also forms telekinetic weapons, as you could see with her psychic knife and her psychic katana. And you might be able to get away with using like the katana as a an additional weapon for Quentin there. If you so chose, that the colors really don't match up. Even though I think the katana, the color of the katana, is closer to his hairstyle and to the designs on his costume than even his psychic weapon. On our right, we've got, of course, Jean Grey. And finally, we have our guy Kid Omega lined up with the other five figures in this wave that I've already reviewed. We going from our left to our right. Fang, Christopher Summers, aka Corsair. We've got Monet St. Croix, aka M. We have Cyclops, the astonishing Cyclops, who I found out today that you can actually remove the ruby quartz from his visor. So, I mean, it'll look crazy without the red in there, but you could take that off if you don't want the wisp. And with some creative posing, you could you can have him like probably, from the profile. What I'm interested in is if I can use those third-party effects that I demonstrated in his review and insert them in the slot there, but we will see. Finally, we have Emma Frost, aka the White Queen. So to basically put this all together, Quentin Quire, aka Kid Omega, is a very nice addition. Obviously, you know what time it is with me. I'm always grateful for new characters that add to the collection. And we got another X character, which is cool. A lot of people have they've basically intimated that they would have preferred Quentin in his classic attire, if you will. He's been around for a minute, not very long, but it's not like he was like he just came out last year. He's been out for a minute. He played the role of bad guy for a minute too, and very arrogant character. It turns out that he's just very insecure, and he hides his insecurity through his arrogance and supposed superiority complex. Very powerful, telekinetic. That's why his name is Kid Omega. He's an Omega level mutant, which means one of the most powerful guys on the planet. But that's about the character as far as the figure is concerned. We got the now standard additional set of hands, and we got the psionic weapon. It would have been nice if we got two weapons, since we got two gripping hands. It also would have been nice if those two gripping hands were bona fide trigger finger hands, but they're not. So that's a curious decision on Hasbro's part, but it is what it is. That head sculpt, as always, the digital print is nice. He is sporting the psionic glasses, which is the same fluorescent color as his weapon, and yeah, pretty nice. The line work for the design on the torso, both front and back, and on the arms are very nice. They're not sloppy at all on my figure, and you have to appreciate that Hasbro did continue the design all the way through the back, and they need to repeat that going forward on all their characters that actually have designs on the rear of the figure, because it's just a matter of paint, and it does well for for accuracy, and in my opinion, that's how it's done.